Ladies and gentlemen, Rise of Kingdoms just revealed two brand new legendary infantry commanders, and they look absolutely insane. So today we're going to take a look at both of the kits for Tokugawa and also Bai Qi. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing these names, but these two new Smite commanders look absolutely insane. If you guys appreciate breaking news for Rise of Kingdoms as soon as it comes out, make sure you drop a thumbs up down below and subscribe so you don't miss it. Click that bell. But guys, as you guys know, I am a partnered creator with Rise of Kingdoms, which means they support a few videos on the channel every single month, just like this one. And with all that being said, what's going on, guys? Okay, now Bai Qi is clearly the open field commander with infantry versatility and smite talent trees. Taking a look at the active skill, it is an AoE. Okay, rage requirement of 1000, deals smite damage to up to 5 enemy troops in a fan with damage factor of 2400. Every additional target obviously reduced by 15%. Each target has a 30% chance to take 15%. Bro, they literally just okay, so King Arthur was obviously had the strongest active skill in terms of raw damage factor. This just beats that by about 3.2%. straight up, it is just slightly more damage than King Arthur. The only downside is that he has to hit 5 targets to get that, whereas Arthur only has to hit 3. But this also has a freaking debuff, dude. 30% chance to take 15% all damage. This is, even if we stopped here, right, even if we stopped here, this is an insane commander. Okay, taking a look at the second skill, 20% march speed, 10% health, and 40% attack. They did not need to do that. They did not need to do that. They gave him an absolutely ridiculous amount of stats here, guys. This is actually insane. This is actually insane. I'm telling you right now, we can stop right here, and this is infantry meta. I'm not kidding. This is all it takes. This is part of the infantry meta right away. Let's take a look at the next skill. It says if this commander's troop is attacking a troop on the map, whenever their troop gains 10 wait, what? Wait, where's this malice effect coming from? Hang on, let's take a look at this skill. These might be out of order. So this one is called martial culture. It says this commander's troop deals 10% more normal damage. Okay, that boosts smite damage. That's great. When attacking a field troop, their troop gains 10 stacks of malice upon entering combat, and 10 stacks of malice for every 10% units it loses. A 5% bonus to smite damage dealt up to 30% for every 10% units is missing. Wait a minute. Okay, so if you're attacking a field troop, you just get 10 stacks right away. Okay, and then you get an additional 10 stacks every 10% of troops that I guess that you lose, right? Not the enemy, but that you lose. I'm not actually sure here. We'll have to see when he comes in the game. Okay, hang on, let me see what this previous skill says, because it says if this commander's troop is attacking a troop of the map, their troop gains 10 stacks of the malice effect whenever it uses an active skill. If its number of malice stacks is higher than the target's percentage of units remaining, it spends 10 malice stacks to deal smite damage to the target with a damage factor of 300. It also gains a 10% bonus to severe wounds inflicted and a 20% bonus to rage recovery speed for 1 second. Okay, so here's the thing, a 20% bonus to rage recovery speed for 1 second is effectively nothing. That it sounds good, but it's barely anything. Okay, depending on how much you pop this, I guess, because maybe you'll pop this so often that it will matter, but a 10 I guess the 10% bonus to sev wounds inflicted is also probably for 1 second, because that's busted. Like, that is actually just completely broken. So I hope it's only for 1 second, but yeah. Okay, so you gain 10 stacks when you enter combat, 10 stacks per active skill, and 10 stacks for any, maybe this is percent of units the target loses, right? When attacking a field troop, maybe it's 10% of stacks for every 10% units the field troop loses, possibly. But basically you have to stack it up to, like, let's say 50, 60, 70, 80%, and once you reach that, then you pop this 300 damage factor, it's smite damage, and you get these little bonuses here. So really interesting stuff here. Taking a look at the expertise, it says after severely wounding 400,000 enemy units, it gains a 5% bonus to normal damage dealt. Okay, that's a reasonable number, I would say. When reduced to 50% units remaining, it deals 60% more damage and takes 30% less damage for the next 6 seconds. When reduced to 15% units remaining, it deals 100% more damage and takes 50% less damage for the next 6 seconds. This effect can trigger once per hour. Okay, so this commander, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, the first 2 skills make it part of the meta. Just you stop there. This is it. You put him in front of Liu Che, you're done, you're good. The next 3 skills, so the skill 3, 4, and expertise, are a little bit weird to me, right? Because the bonuses, like, first of all, 10% flat normal damage is nice, right? But if you're going to be gaining stacks of malice over time, then this is like it's a slow burn here, right? Like the benefits that you get here is kind of a slow burn. This is a stacking slow burn. This is a little, it takes, I mean, this all takes time to pop off, right? So a couple of things that we don't see here: we don't see a crazy amount of all damage bonus, we don't see a crazy amount of tankiness on this commander, we don't see any instant proc damage. Really the star of the show here is he has a great amount of stats, 20% march speed, and the strongest AoE in the game, right? Like that's kind of where that starts and stops there. So the active skill alone is broken, but the rest of the kit I would say isn't actually crazy, and maybe we'll have to obviously wait and see. But if we take a look here, you do get the stat, like all of this could work in a rally or a garrison, right? Like there's nothing about this that says he has to be open field. The only thing that says he has to be open field is, you know, Ravager of the Land of Spirit, you have to be hitting a troop on the map, and here you have to be attacking a field troop, right? And this is when the troop is on the map. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I guess, I mean, I don't know, like maybe we can try it in a rally. I don't know if it's going to be super busted there, but as an open field PvP commander, he's going to come out of the gate swinging like an absolute demon with a nice amount of stats and march speed here, and then as he's on the battlefield, he's going to get slightly stronger over time, right? So you start with 10%, right? I feel like this is going to stack pretty slow, right? You start with 10, you get 10 for every active skill, and for every 10% of troops, I guess either you or the enemy, it must be you, right? It must be you, because otherwise the game's going to recalculate for every target that you touch. It must be your units, right? So yeah, you're going to stack this malice, I would say pretty slow most likely, but if this is, yeah, I don't know, this is kind of crazy. I wonder how this would work with like Herald, for example, right? Because Herald's Stamford Bridge causes him to cast his active skill a lot, and also if you paired him with somebody like Philip, who's going to cause him to cast his active skill occasionally an additional time, right? So you could stack them even more there. But yeah, I mean, this is a tiny damage factor here, but more Sev wounds is broken. It's only for 1 second. So overall, I would say that this is, I mean, even still, even just the active skill and stats alone, I bet he's probably part of the infantry meta, right? We'll have to wait and see, but I mean, it is objectively the highest not skill damage, smite damage AoE in the game. Open and close like data right there. Nice debuff here. It's a chance, but it's still nice, and decent stats. Not tanky, right? Not tanky, but decent. We see no combo damage here as well, by the way, no combo attacks like Liu Che. So all in all, I would say, you know, 50% of the kit is really good. The other 50% of the kit is solid. It's not insane, right? Like again, a lot of this stuff stacks over time, and so all in all, I would say Bai Qi looks really interesting. I'm very excited to get my hands on him. Pairing him with Liu Che is just a double smite AoE, or you leave Liu Che with your Alex or Philip, and then you pair Bai Qi with you know, the William Wallace, and then you're good. We'll talk more about commander pairs in just a second, but let's take a look at the other commander that was revealed here, Tokugawa, another Japanese commander. I'm super excited about that. Infantry, garrison, and smite. We have another smite damage commander coming to garrison. Gorgo, oh boy, Gorgo and Tokugawa potentially. Let's see, the active skill says deal smite damage to a target troop of 2400 and reduces its defense by 10% for 3 seconds. This commander's troop gains a damage absorbing mighty shield for 2 seconds with a damage factor of 600. Okay, all in all, right off the gate, fine active skill. No AoE, nothing crazy, okay damage factor, but nothing busted. Whenever this commander's troop launches a basic attack or counterattack, their infantry units have a 25% chance to gain 30% attack for 4 seconds, and infantry units in their troop gain 10% march speed and 10% defense. Okay, so this is a chance for attack and a very small amount of stats otherwise, although it is worth noting that march speed and defense on a garrison is interesting and nice. It's a tiny amount of defense, tiny amount of march speed, but usually we don't see that much march speed on garrisons to begin with, so that's pretty interesting. I wonder if we'll be able to use him in the open field, because this says nothing about being in a garrison, right? Oh boy, here's a paragraph. If this commander is a garrison commander, the garrison deals 10% more damage. Okay, flat up all damage is great. Whenever the garrison deals smite damage, it has a 25% chance to cleanse 1 slow, poison, exhaustion, or normal debuff. So one of those 4 from itself. If the effect has multiple stacks, it cleanses, okay, it only cleanses 1 stack, so that's not as good. It gains 1 stack of the Tosho effect for 10 seconds. Each stack increases the health of the garrison's infantry units by 5%. This effect can stack up to 4 times, and its duration resets whenever it gains another stack. Okay, so all in all, that is, how long is it? 10 seconds. Okay, so you can stack up 20% defense. That's not that much, but the fact that you can cleanse things is pretty nice. nice. Also, you're going to probably pair this with Gorgo, and she deals some smite damage additionally as well, and 10% all damage is good. If this commander is a garrison commander, whenever the garrison receives a buff that has a 50% chance to gain a shield for 3 seconds of 1200. It's a mighty shield, 1200, 7-second cooldown. That's a big cooldown. Okay, so you're buffing yourself basically, and every time you do, you have a 50% chance to gain a huge shield. Not huge, but decent shield, especially because it's mighty. So that's pretty good as well. And whenever this commander's troop launches a basic attack or counterattack, it has a 15% chance or 30% chance if it has a shield to deal smite damage to up to 3 enemy troops in a fan shape with 300 damage factor and a 10-second cooldown. Okay, so all in all, I'm not seeing this being a viable field commander, right? Because this skill doesn't do anything in the field. This skill is okay, but it's nothing crazy. This skill requires that you be in the garrison for all of the effects here. So really it's just the active skill and the second skill. And if you just wanted a 2400 single target, you would just use a William Wallace, right? So I don't see us using Tokugawa in the field. I do think that this could be a really interesting pairing with Gorgo. I also wonder if you would do still Gorgo primary because she has a 900 age requirement and the defense tree, whereas here we have the smite tree, right? So we'll have to wait and see. Also, you have some nice stuff going on here when you have a shield, right? And so, you know, pairing him with somebody like Hera might be a thing as well, or maybe even Martel, right? Martel with his active skill, the shielding, and he has a ton of counterattack damage that you're missing here. All in all, I feel like this commander's not that tanky. I mean, you stack health, but otherwise it's 10% defense and that's it, right? No other stats here at all. No attack, it looks like, either. So, oh yeah, we have 30% attack, sorry. So yeah, oh, actually it's a chance to gain 30% attack. So all in all, I would say a little bit low on the stat side, decent active skill, nothing super crazy here, but really I'm interested to see how this is going to pair with commanders like I said, Gorgo, Hera, and Martel. Those are really interesting to me. I feel like Gorgo is already so good, so to have another smite damage commander to pair with her could be actually devastating, but I feel like Gorgo already has great pairs, so who knows. I don't know how to feel about this commander in the garrison. Like, I think it's going to be good, but we'll have to wait and see the testing. Okay, now let's talk about the best commander pairs for Bai Qi that I am going to predict right now on day one. Okay, first of all, 5 target AoE, smite talent tree, decent stats. I can imagine him pairing slam dunk with Liu Che. Even though the rest of his kit seems like it's going to be a bit of a slow burn, I'm still excited to see how this pair is going to do in the open field. So I just want to remind you guys, before you get your hands on Bai Qi, who is probably going to be a Wheel of Fortune commander, you want to make sure that you see testing videos first on YouTube. Okay, whether it's me, whether it's Chiskel, whether it's a million other creators who are going to be testing this commander, wait to see the test results before you go all in. But I do feel like that active skill and stats alone could make him very strong in the open field. So as a single infantry pairing, I can imagine this being the play, especially if you have the new pincer formation or the arch formation, obviously, right? If you're going to run 2 infantry pairs, the question is, do you split up the double smite AoE? And if so, for who, right? Like, you could just do a double smite AoE, a double skill AoE, and all of a sudden you have like an insane amount of AoE on the field here. But the other thing to keep in mind too is that the Liu Che Alex and the Liu Che Philip are already like super good, right? Whether you're running one or the other, they're mega good. And so you may just keep them together, right? I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if that's the case, maybe you just move one to the other and boom, there you go, you're good, right? Now the thing, or the problem I should say with this, is that because Bai Qi has no combo attacks, he's not going to cause the instant proc from Alex as often as Liu Che would. And so I almost would rather do something like this, right? Because you're getting a lot of defense from Philip, and you also have the all damage to boost the active skill here from Bai Qi. So I can imagine a world where this is your 3 army lineup, honestly, for infantry. That would not surprise me in the slightest. The other question becomes, however, like, if you're gonna run only 2, do you still run the like Scipio or the Ragnar? Like, it could be something like this, or it could be something like this, right? Like, if you want the debuff from the Scipio, you do that. Otherwise you would do something like this for maximum damage, right? I could imagine that being the case as well. I really hate separating this pair because it's so good and there's so much synergy here with them both being skill damage. So I don't know if that will be the case. If we do some testing with Bai Qi, with Philip and or with Alex, and we just find that it's not instant procking enough, then we can I can easily imagine a world where we do pull in the William Wallace finally, dust him off the bench, and this is your 3 army lineup for infantry. Again, this would not surprise me at all. But remember, Bai Qi is actually pretty squishy, right? There's no damage taken reduction or anything like that. It is straight up like normal damage and stacking damage over time and 10% health, right? Like that is not that much health for a relatively, or what should be, a tanky commander, right? So if we're being honest, we would want to pair him with a more tanky commander themselves, and so I am leaning towards something like this, probably something like that. Or I mean, we have a ton of defense on Ragnar, so something like this would not surprise me as, you know, some sort of meta commander pairing, right? Like that would not surprise me in the slightest. But I mean, we'll just have to wait and see, right? I think that realistically you'll probably want to pair him with somebody that's doing some amount of smite damage, so I could see this. But guys, Wallace is like got the same amount of stats here. It's just crazy how Wallace was instantly power crept, right? Instantaneously power crept. He does give a really nice amount of like normal damage and smite damage here, gives you a little shield, but also again only 10% health. There's really not enough tankiness here on Wallace in my opinion to pair him with Bai Qi, right? That's just kind of how I'm feeling about this, to be honest with you guys. So I just want to give you guys that quick little warning there, because it might not be as good as it looks. It sounds like it would be a slam dunk, but I'm not entirely sold just yet. I do want to see maybe a little bit more tankiness here, so I can definitely imagine this being a combination that we run, but we will have to wait and see. Now, as far as commander pairs for Tokugawa, I am not a garrison lead, so I'm not as well equipped or prepared or whatever to talk about garrison pairs here, but I can easily imagine a world where again Gorgo is a good option here, Hera, Charles Martel, and we haven't even touched on the KVKs where you can change troop types, right? Like, I mean, would this be the pairing with Attila, right? Could it possibly be? Who knows? I still feel like the Gorgo Attila is probably better, right? I think they probably were scared of the Gorgo Attila and they didn't want to make Tokugawa basically an infantry equivalent of Attila, right? That's kind of how I'm feeling about this. But you guys can let me know what you think in the comment section below about what the best garrison pairs with Tokugawa might be. I'm stoked that he's in the game. That is definitely a Japanese commander that I wanted to see. Now, as far as talent builds for Bai Qi, this is probably what I would go with if I'm being 100% honest with you guys. This is obviously my William Wallace, but they have the exact same talent trees. I would come all the way up to the top of the smite tree and then grab all of the march speed off on the right side of the infantry tree here, grab strong of body, you grab of course double-headed axe, and you have 2 points left over, right? So you can get the 2% defense here, which I really like, or if you wanted to put it somewhere else, you could do pack a punch or bitter end. I don't like bitter end unless you're in like a, I mean, unless you're fighting to the bitter end, right? Like if you're going to do canyon, that would be what I would do. Like this is the canyon build, in case you guys were wondering, for Bai Qi. This is not even a question in my mind, right? Like this is going to be the canyon build for Bai Qi in my mind. But for open field fighting, I would prefer something like this, right? I guess you could do pack a punch, but the thing about pack a punch is that this means you're going to take more normal damage in the form of not only normal damage, but you're going to take more smite damage and more combo damage, right? So that's why I don't really love pack a punch here. And every time I say pack a punch, I'm thinking about like zombies, right? Call of Duty zombies. But anyway, I would be willing to bet that the 2 points in the defense tree are just fine, right? That's my best guess. There's also attack, but I think he's going to need the tankiness, right? So those are my best bets for the open field PvP commander, and I've given you guys what I think are the best commander pairs. But with that being said, guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a thumbs up on it. Helps out the channel a ton, helps get this video out into the YouTube algorithm so other Rise of Kingdoms players might see it. And while you're down there, consider subscribing to the channel and clicking the bell to be notified the next time I upload a Rise of Kingdoms video. And comment down below your thoughts on these two brand new legendary infantry commanders. Are they way too broken? Are they not good at all? Are they overhyped? Let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you guys. And with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been Omniarch. I will talk to you guys again soon. Peace.